our last kind of full day together. I hope you're doing okay, and welcome to our online audience. I think yesterday we peaked at about 40 viewers during the distribution exhibition face-off. But I think we had a really good day yesterday. There was a lot of content in there, and you were kind of introduced to the idea of Letterboxd from the distributor's perspective. As you can see, they're spending money with Letterboxd. They're looking at it as a key platform to get their films out to audiences. And we're really blessed today to be joined by Ella Kemp, who is in charge of Letterboxd in Europe and is based in the UK, to give us a kind of short introduction to the platform and share some ways in which exhibitors might be able to work with the platform. And then we'll also hear from some of our own participants here about their experience of using the platform. So we're really glad that Ella could be here. This is going to be part of a collaboration with Europa Cinemas, which will develop over the next few months and kind of culminate in something at the conference. So if you've not used Letterboxd before for your cinema, you've not got a HQ account, and you're interested after this session today in doing something, do talk to the Europa Cinemas team and express your interest. Hopefully, Ella, you can hear me. Thank you for joining us so early.
Thanks for having me. All good. I wish I could be there.
We can hear you fine. Can we see Ella? Yeah. So you're all good to go. Hopefully you can share your slides as well.
Great. It's very strange seeing my face on your screen. Straight into the slides. Let me see how I do this. Okay. Can everybody see the beautiful?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for indulging us and listening for a few minutes about Letterboxd. I'm going to aim to give you a sort of whistle-stop tour of what we are, what we do, the ways that exhibitors can get involved, but also give you a little bit of the context of how we work with other folks in the industry and how our members use Letterboxd. So, at its core, Letterboxd is a global community of film lovers where you can rate, review, listify, and just enjoy all of the films you've seen. We call it your life in film. You can be as elusive and aloof or as detailed as you want. There is no obligation to rate or review anything, but you can if you want to. It's very much a kind of build your own adventure, build your own cinephile life in an app form. We're on desktop, on mobile, and anywhere else that you could get an app. Here is some stats which we have a very good problem, which is that anytime we put together presentations like this, our numbers are always a little bit out of date because membership has since grown, which is lovely. I think we're around the 14 million mark right now. As you can see, COVID was interesting for Letterboxd. I think a lot of folks who couldn't go to the cinema in person realized that there was this big community online where you could find like-minded people and, kind of keep the love of cinema going online. So, we've had quite an interesting growth spurt in the last few years. Here are some numbers from our most recently published year in review, which is our sort of internal report that we share externally every year. Obviously, we're able to see all of the different films that people are reviewing, how many different comments, the number of lists. Sorry, I should have said up top that Letterboxd is free. We have paid tiers, but the app in its basic functionality is very much free to all. So lots of people have been enjoying it for the year in review. If you are curious as well, if you Google Letterboxd 2023 year in review, there you're able to see which films are our most highest rated in different categories, different genres, the most watched actors, directors, all of that kind of thing. It is very much sort of mammoth undertaking, which we're very proud of every year, which gives a really interesting insight, I think, into what people are watching and crucially into what people are loving. So, that's online and available for everyone to look at if you need any inspiration for what to put on screen. Here's a nice little bit of press that we've had. I'm just going to let you read that for a second. And moving on. So, I've got a few slides here looking through a survey that we did last year of our members. It was done in the US, but I think is pretty telling, to be honest, of a lot of the sort of breakdown that we see across members around the world. So, I think there is this very popular idea among those who know Letterboxd that there are only 18-year-olds on the app. I promise you that is not true. We love all of the 18-year-olds on the app. But, I find it very interesting that the sort of most substantial brackets and tiers are for members between the ages of 25 and 44 when you add them up, which I think is quite interesting. And as well as 18 to 24-year-olds, I think those in that age bracket are very passionate about cinema and very online and on the internet, so they make a lot of noise around their Letterboxd accounts and take a lot of time and are very proud of them, which we love. But we have kind of a bit of a broader split. I love this stat in particular. The vast majority of Letterboxd members do not work in the film and TV industry. I like this stat because I think it shows that there is so much enthusiasm for people to come to the cinema to see movies outside of their day jobs. I don't know how folks feel in the room, but I know that working in the industry, you kind of forget that it can be a little bit of inside baseball sometimes. But whenever we're talking to exhibition partners, we say, I'm very certain that, I'm really sorry, my cat is, okay, he's leaving. We're always very certain that we can get a very engaged audience to cinemas, because a lot of the time they're not getting a lot of these opportunities to see movies early and to see previews and talent and all these kind of things. So yes, a resounding no, they do not work in the film and TV industry. So here we have a bit more of a broader split, just looking at how often our members go to the cinema, to the movie theatre, if you are on that side of the pond. And it's pretty encouraging that among both the paid members and free members, the smallest tier is never. We have, excuse me, far fewer of our members do not go to the cinema than the alternative. So among our paid members, 23% go to the cinema more than 4 times a month. And among our free members, they go at least once a month. And again, this isn't the entirety of our membership, but it's pretty accurate. What would most convince you to subscribe to Letterboxd Pro or Patron? So these are our 2 different paid tiers, which have a annual fee. I cannot tell you exactly how much it is because the numbers are in USD. As with everything at Letterboxd, everything is about conversions, be that time zones or currencies or other things. I believe our Patron tier at the moment is around the 40 USD mark-ish, and Pro is around 20. I'm so sorry that's so vague, but these numbers are online as well. But yeah, so here clearly those who are not yet Pro or Patron want discounts on tickets and on digital rentals. They don't plan on paying, and that's okay. We're rolling out new features all the time in terms of how to entice people to want to use that. One of the most fun ones, to be honest, is that on the Letterboxd app, Patron members can customize film posters and film backdrops on each page's title. Obviously, you have different titles and different posters from different regions, and it's all a very, very satisfying, very aesthetic little feature that you can have if you are obsessed with movies. Okay, now we're moving into something that exhibitors can use a bit. So this is an HQ page. This is our industry tier of Letterboxd accounts, which we introduced a few years ago. The HQ account can kind of exist like a hub for you. It's a more sort of complex and all-encompassing version of the Letterboxd profile, so it's obviously representing an organisation and not just an individual person. It's pretty self-explanatory here with the different features of it. You can make your own lists, which can be applicable to, seasons that you've got coming up at the moment, or looking back at past ones that you want to kind of give a permanent home and archive to. You can have all of your social media links in one place. And on the next slide, this continues. There is a section where you can write your own news stories and post links. I think this is really, really helpful because it means that you don't need a sort of separate blog website if you want to update your audience on any kind of thing you've got going on. You can write a story about showtimes, or you can simply copy and paste whatever other piece of content you've got going on that you want to promote there. It's a really good kind of one-stop shop. And also any of the news stories that you're writing, say for example that one on Ammonite, when folks will search for Ammonite in the main search on Letterboxd, your story will be there. The ordering is TBC, like with most things in algorithm type places, but it puts you on the map in those search results. I used to work for an organisation called Girls on Tops, where we had our own editorial platform celebrating women in film and lots of writing from all sorts of different folks. And I noticed that quite a lot of the time, we had a Letterboxd account for Girls on Tops, and I would cross-post a lot of our stories. And when you're writing about smaller films or, more niche titles, which there is an audience for, sometimes we would be the only story on Letterboxd that would have anything on that film. So I really think it is always worthwhile to sort of cross-post in that way because, whatever fun programming you're working with is really worth putting on Letterboxd because there will be an audience for it. And then further down you can see your different team members, which is nice to give your team members credit. Okay, so here's another example of an HQ account, this time for a cinema, where you can have a featured list. So this is a nice place where you can have a rolling showtimes effectively, as I said. And then you can see in the bottom right is showtimes, which we are working on developing that kind of specific layout that you can see on the HQ page, but I can tell you more about showtimes right now. So I've skipped straight to this sort of layout so you can see. We introduced showtimes last year in December. So this means that when anyone is on the Letterboxd page for any title, you can see it. I believe it's to the left-hand side if you're on desktop, or it's just if you scroll down on mobile. You can see where the movie is playing, obviously on your streaming services, which has been integrated for quite a while. And there is now an option to see where the movie is playing in theatres near you. So as you can see here, I just kind of searched near me in London, and this is not, this isn't a screenshot I took today, I'm so sorry, but it just gives you a good idea of the kind of things that you can be looking for. It is still rolling out and we are still working on this feature, so if your cinema is not listed within the showtimes and you know that it should be, please reach out and we can put you in touch with the folks at Assemble, who is the organisation who powers this. And if you can have a chat with them and make sure that your cinemas are listed where they need to be. On the right hand side of the screen, on the listing of Poor Things, you can see something that we are testing as well, which is to have a sort of featured placement of showtimes, which sort of bypasses the location-based search filters. So you can see there that the Alamo Drafthouse in Manhattan is sort of bypassing Nighthawk, AMC, even if those cinemas are closer to where the Letterboxd member is searching. So that's just another idea of a way that you might be able to work with us if you wanted to. Yeah, I'm just giving you lots of ideas, and then you just let us know whatever you're into. So here's a different kind of thing that we do. Sometimes we partner with distributors and studios to kind of work on fun, bespoke events for our members who, as you said, are obsessed with movies. So this was a very cool one. Warner Brothers reached out to us to work on something quite special for the IMAX re-release of Tenet. And here you have Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve in conversation in an IMAX screen for Letterboxd members, which was amazing. I think it speaks for itself. So here are just some of the partners that we've worked with and the different examples of things that we can do. So we have a lot of different ad space on Letterboxd that we are very happy to talk you through and figure out a kind of bespoke package that works for you. We do a lot of direct email marketing. The ways that I think this is most efficient is because we have pretty unique targeting in terms of, for example, you see on that example, we are sending an email about Priscilla, Sofia Coppola's movie. We could make sure, if you wanted to, that email only reached people who have seen The Virgin Suicides, or people who we know love Elvis. You make the rules. Maybe not that one specifically, but that kind of thing. And then on the right-hand side there, you can see a little teaser of some of the interviews that we do on our social media to get the word out and keep the buzz going for people to celebrate movies with us. And here is a little example of some people that we meet out on our travels, different members of the Letterboxd community who we have interviewed, who want to share their 4 favourite movies with us. If anyone isn't familiar with this, on your Letterboxd profile, you have the option when you sign up, like any social media, to put in a profile picture and a description, but you can also pin your 4 favourite movies. So this is now a very popular question that we ask people when you're out and about. Okay, here is a little slide. I put this in here just because we are running a promotion with independent and single-site cinemas to effectively bypass the fees that we have for HQ accounts if the partner is happy and able to play our little reel about Letterboxd in return. I don't know if the sound is going to work, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't. But let's give this a go.
Do you love movies? Letterboxd is the perfect place to discover, explore, rate, review, and make lists of your favorite movies. Get Letterboxd today.
Does that work? No idea. Anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, if anyone's interested in having a look at that and playing that, again, let us know.
Do you
love
no,
I'm
movies?
So sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. And I'm just leaving you here with some feedback that we have got from our members of people who love Letterboxd and are very passionate and very grateful, which is always a pretty crazy thing to see when people just message you that on the internet. As anyone who works on the internet knows, it's a pretty rare thing for people to be so nice. So yes, we're very happy with this and try and remember it. And signing off is our queen of Letterboxd, Io Debery, telling everyone why she has an account. And I think that's everything from me. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, Ella. If you can oh, hello, you're back. I'm looking at you now. Thank you so much. That was great. Has anyone got any questions for Ella? Yeah. Sorry, we have this snake.
Maybe I can be here. I'm sorry, I hear first time about Letterboxd. I'm from Czech Republic, and I would like to know, like, if you have any idea of popularity in Europe, in each state, each countries.
Yes, I absolutely do have this. If you give me 2 secs, I'm actually going to find those numbers for you right now. We do. We are very happy to share this data. I'm not going to share more than one on this call just because I feel we'll be here for a while. But let me see. In the Czech Republic, in terms of Letterboxd members that we can email, so this isn't total members, we have 8.5 thousand as of right now. And then in terms of 30-day engaged sessions, we have 146,000. So that is just a little insight for you. If anyone is particularly curious about their region or their country, this is something that we're happy to share.
Out of interest, how many people here have got a HQ account? Okay, great. We'll ask some of you to share a little bit, but has anyone else got any questions for Ella still?
Hey Ella, this is Mustafa speaking. I would like to ask you, are you going to offer Letterboxd in certain languages in Europe? And how is the memberships from Germany?
Very good question. We are working on translation. I don't think we currently have a timeline in place purely because, as you can see, I'm the entirety of the Europe team. I don't work on the platform side of things, and we have a very similarly small team. So we don't have a timeline in place, unfortunately, but we are very aware that we want to be translating, and we should. Germany is one of our top regions in Europe. We have 123,000 members that we can email as of right now, and we have over 2.5 million engaged sessions over the last 30 days.
Cool. Oh, there's a question from Verena. Would you mind coming down here? Because I'm a bit scared of this thing.
Yeah, thanks for your presentation. And you have 124,000 members in Germany now. So my question is, I was just browsing through the films you're kind of presenting, and it's very English language focused and very I wonder how the films come to the surface and what you do to promote films from all regions in the world.
Sure. So we do try very hard across our social media and editorial platforms. We have an editorial platform called Journal, as well as also video content and all these kind of things, to promote movies from all over the world. We have a lot of different features on this. To be honest, in our presentation, a lot of things that we've covered are English language due to where we've worked with partners, distribution partners in the US, that kind of things, budget, stuff like that. But we attend film festivals all over the world, and we try to cover these in different languages. And we have a feature, for example, on a journal called Watchlist This, in which each month we look through 5 or 6 sort of under the radar movies that we're on staff really excited about and want to encourage for people to add to their watch list. I know the month just been, we had Agnieszka Holland's film Green Border on there, and very frequently are sort of making sure that on the social and editorial side of things we can be talking to folks all over the world. We are still a very, very small team, which is why we have certain limitations in terms of where we're present and the languages that we speak. But yeah, on the sort of editorial and social side, we are trying very hard, and I think to an extent are doing it in terms of promoting movies from all over as much as we can.
And I guess what you were saying earlier about the HQ account, you can have quite a strong editorial voice within your HQ account. So and by tagging articles, that helps then get those films, rising to the surface, but also directing traffic to your very specific editorial platform, which I think is quite interesting. Do we have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to ask a couple of people that... Oh, sorry.
Just one note on the HQ pages.
Yeah.
I don't know if I made it clear before, but once you have an HQ account, that is very much completely up to you to run it. While we don't currently support in-app translation for, things that we write and that other members write, on your HQ account, obviously, please write in whatever language you want to. In terms of the editorial and the stories and even just show times and things like that you're posting on there. We have a lot of members on the platform who are writing in a lot of different languages. For example, one of my colleagues was just recently in Annecy for the animation film festival there, and there was a film that he wanted to celebrate in his sort of roundup story, and we like to incorporate reviews from Letterboxd members for this because the community is at the heart of everything we do. And he was saying to me, look, I can't find any in the English language. I can only find reviews written in Hungarian for this title. And I'm like, that's okay. I'm happy that they found the film and really like the film. So there is a lot of that activity on there, and we are working consistently to try and be able to support it more and more.
Oh, Megan's got a question.
It was less a question and more just to uplift Shelf Life, Kate Rife's newsletter for Letterboxd, which is the repertory and restoration newsletter, which is my absolute favourite part of Letterboxd. And I find that a lot of niche titles and undiscovered titles are really discussed there and well written on. So just
Thank you. And it's a newsletter, and it's also on our editorial platform. So even if you're not signed up, you can go onto Journal and check once a month. Yes, we are very proud of Shelf Life, and thank you for shouting out.
And I was just going to ask Zuleyha to share, because you've got an account, haven't you, with Kino Rotterdam. Could you just share a few things like highlights or challenges or anything?
Well, I don't think we use all the features that are available, but for us it's a nice way to archive all the films that we have been screening up until now, and I make lists of the special programming, so our trailers and the text that go with it. And we are growing, but after this presentation I feel like we should do a lot more. Sometimes I'm not sure about the algorithm because I use it myself as well, and what I mainly see is what my friends are watching, so that's nice. But I don't really. You have to shift to the different button to see, like the journals and I don't usually do this. But maybe I'm a different kind of user. I don't know. But that's mainly the page I stay on. So that's.
Do
you have any thoughts on that yet, Ella?
Yes. So we have, in terms of the sort of journal integration, at the moment what we have is when you're on any specific film page, if you scroll down just a little bit below the bar where you've got what your friends have thought and the people that you follow, we do have a sort of related news section. So if you've just watched Green Border and you're on the film page for that, underneath the people that you follow, you should see then the journal story that features Green Border, so that you are able to sort of click through and be redirected in that way. But you're right, if you're on the home page, journal is on another tab at the kind of top. I would encourage people to click on it. That's all I've got.
Yeah, and I guess it's how you promote it to your users as well, isn't it? If we're I'll talk a bit more about that, but if you use socials to go directly to sections, then I guess you're encouraging your user. And same with reviews, really, with encouraging reviews. One bit of feedback I would say with the trailer, the teaser trailer, if I was thinking of screening that in the cinema, it would be nice if it made more of a link with like the fact that you're in a cinema and perhaps encouraging the people in the room to write reviews of what they've just seen. So if there was a bit more of a like direct call to action, which actually related more to the cinema viewing experience, that's just a little bit of feedback. Does anyone else want to share briefly like their experience of using a HQ? Otherwise we'll move on. Okay. Thank you so much, Ella. That was really great. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, everyone. And if you have any questions sort of specifically about the nitty-gritty of Letterboxd, something you didn't understand or feedback or anything, please reach out. I'm sure Maddie can share my email or something. But as I say, we're a very small team and very open to thoughts on.
And obviously this is like I said, it's the start of a collaboration with Europa Cinemas, so there'll probably be more happening at the conference. And if you're interested, if you're in the uncomfortable zone and you think, maybe we should do this, then come and talk to someone from the Europa Cinemas team. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And now, you're going to just introduce me.
Okay. Let's go into the first session today with the aspect of co-programming or co-creation, co-curation. It's an interesting aspect in our work, and it could be a chance to have some nicer programs, some nicer activities, if we are able to include our audience in some ways. And maybe we get some insights from the next presentations, sorry. And we are going to start with Maddie.
Hello, it's me again. Sorry. Just getting bored of the sound of my voice. So I thought I'd do something that kind of follows up from Letterboxd, and I'll get into it a little bit later, but also connects with where we are here in Cinema Ritrovato. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about our journey with Rep Cinema and how that also connects with Letterboxd and co-creation. So we've always screened Rep films, but I think it was in 2009 we actually introduced a regular, we called it Sunday brunch slot at midday. And this was actually designed at the request of our cafe bar. They'd introduced a breakfast offer, a brunch offer, and it wasn't working very well. So they were like, can you just put a film on and then people would be here? And at first they asked us to do like breakfast themed programming, and we were like, we're just going to run out of ideas quite soon. So we went with it and we started doing these brunch screenings, and we were so surprised from the first one on. We had a huge take-up, so much so that the kitchen couldn't keep up with it. So we had to kind of open up the offer to before and after. And what also intrigued us is there was a young audience that was coming to these screenings. So I looked up last year's stats of our kind of overall programming, and I was really interested to see that Rep and archive programming now represents 10% of our total admissions, which is a lot because we're primarily a kind of first run cinema. We show new films, and also even more pleasantly surprised that there's about 22%, 24 and under. So that's our kind of ticketing offer that we're able to capture. And the big peak that you see here at the end of July is our very small version of Il Cinema Ritrovato, which we introduced 8 years ago. And if you looked at our cafe bar stats, I couldn't kind of put them on here, but you'll also see that there's a peak. They took £10,000 more during the weekend of Cinema Rediscovered than they would usually. So we kind of purposefully chose that slot. It was a quiet time of the year for us. And we were also interested in the idea of launching rep cinema, not just at Watershed, but across the UK. So creating more of a theatrical moment. And thought, well, August is a good place because there's not many films until Barbie. There weren't many films at that time of the being released at that time of the year. So yeah, we got inspired by Cinema Ritrovato here, but also there was a movement in Bristol of various people doing rep cinema, from our local video store, 20th Century Flicks, to the Cube Cinema, which is a really hip and cool cinema in Bristol, and different groups putting on film screenings. There's a real sort of collective community, and you can sort of track our journey on our Letterboxd HQ account if you're interested in looking back at the kind of programming that we've done. Yeah, and the festival 8 years on has grown into a kind of meeting point for the industry, and a kind of launch platform for touring initiatives as well. And just wanted to talk about some of the ways in which we involve other curators and creatives in the creation of the program. So we never wanted to have a single director. That was not the concept, which a lot of people find difficult to understand. But we always wanted to work with different people. So, for instance, this season was developed with a Manchester-based curator called Andy, and it was looking at the blacklist. We also commissioned Wales-based artist called Beth to do the artwork for the program. And just going back to yesterday's discussion with Park Circus, one of the challenges really for cinemas in showing rep is the costs. We didn't really go into that yesterday for obvious reasons. But yeah, the costs of showing rep cinema can be really quite high, especially if you're just doing single screenings. So we were trying to look at solutions, and one of the solutions was to actually work with other cinemas and not work on our own. And come up with a technical solution of bringing together 4 films, was it 4 or 5 films onto one single drive, which then reduces the costs quite significantly. But also, you know, coming together so that we could have artwork that was potentially attractive to like current audiences, and creating a moment with press and so on. With the support of the British Film Institute, awarding funds from the National Lottery, so people that basically gamble, thank you, we're grateful. We launched a program called Other Ways of Seeing, and the idea was to try to bring in different voices to kind of program different elements of the festival. And here you've got Steph Reed with our the founder of the festival, Mark Cosgrove, who you might see around here and at the festival at some point. And Steph was doing an MA in curation with us. We have a formal program with the local university. So each year we have a new MA student that comes and spends a year with us and puts on their own program. And as part of their year's development, they put on this season of done and dirty American DIY restored films. They're all kind of new restorations. Films like Variety, Salvation, and so on, all very hip and cool. And then they came up with the idea of commissioning Sebastian Robles, who's, I can't remember where he's from, Chile, I think. But he does really cool artwork, which helped the cinemas that then went on to show those films, because we could do competitions, limited edition things. And also the other kind of interesting story is that Steph now works as our cinema programmer, aged 25 years old. So it was a really great way for us to test, you know, working with someone and then kind of bring them into the organization as well, which is, I think, a great way of connecting with younger audiences, is to actually look at who is programming. We also brought in a new collaboration with Moonfest, who work with Eastern, Southeast Asian communities. And that was a really nice partnership where they connected with us on specific screenings. They did meetups, and it was great because they used closed channels like WhatsApp groups and things like that. There's no way I could access those channels. A lot of the people had never been to Watershed. They're kind of like expats from Hong Kong. They're a very tight community, and yeah, it was great to see them in the space. And we did simple things like promo codes, which they could redeem for specific screenings, and we're working with them again. Also, like we tapped into funds that were aimed at kind of post-COVID recovery around the city centre. Not many people are coming to the city centre of Bristol. They're staying in their neighbourhoods, and there was money to do that kind of work, but we were at complete capacity. So what we did, instead of doing the work ourselves, we commissioned an organisation called Compass Presents to come in and deliver some of those activities. So they put on this pedal-powered weekend, the weekend before our festival, which kind of got a young audience involved. They worked with co-curators from every neighbourhood in the south of Bristol, which is like a poor area where there's less kind of opportunities. And a lot of people from those areas never used the centre. So this was like groundbreaking in the sense that we worked with young people and older people actually to curate the screenings, and then they brought their families and friends and so on. The weather was not our friend, but we trooped on, and there was a great cycle teacher who was very energetic and kept everybody going. And then we also took over, worked with Compass to take over a car park. Again, in the city centre, everything's dead. It looks a bit desperate, to be honest. So, yeah, the city's looking for ways of reanimating spaces, and these guys did an amazing job. We showed Summer of Soul. There was a huge party, dancing, a lot of fun. And the other initiative that we've been running for quite a while is a film critics workshop. So we started that in 2016. We were one of the first film critics workshop in Europe, I think. And now they're everywhere. Everybody's running them. So yeah, that was an initiative to try to give up-and-coming film critics and also video essayists an opportunity to make work, to be introduced to to others, and to come to the festival and also amplify what we're doing, reflect on what we're doing. We actually decided to stop it this year, and the reason being is we felt there's so many entry-level opportunities now. What we've decided to do is go back to all our alumni and instead commission some of them to actually make a piece of work, because we're finding a lot of them were getting stuck. They were kind of starting to make work and then not getting commissioned. And then finally, just wanted to show you our Letterboxd page, which I have to say for me was a complete blessing to find this platform, because we had the problem of our What's On website, and how to put editorial pieces with the What's On was very clumsy. It was like really far removed. And I just felt that it was almost pointless to put this editorial stuff that we were commissioning. And we also had no formal record of the festival from the last 8 editions. So this was a really nice way of creating lists of what we've done before. And basically publishing on there. And we were really pleased with... as we set up our HQ account, we did a swap. So we emailed our customers about HQ account, not HQ accounts, their sort of what's the in-between one? The pro accounts, and then they emailed their lists. I think it was about 5,000 members of locally based people about our HQ account, and we instantly had, some interest, and it's been a really nice way of promoting the festival as well, because you can easily kind of have like images of all the posters. It's very recognizable to an audience that is on Letterboxd, and we just look forward to developing the collaboration. Really, I'd love to get them down to the festival with the mic, to have like extra profile, but I think they're quite they're busy. And if you have any questions afterwards, I'm very happy to say more, but I think we'll move straight on to the next one. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Amazing. I just have one question. We have some time more, haven't we?
I'm not sure.
We
I've
have
lost
a
track.
bit until 11. So,
Yeah.
I was wondering how many hours you are investing for such programming, and how do you manage it with the regular program?
The Letterboxd, or just
all these.
the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How many people are working in the management for this? I don't know. It's amazing.
Not many. This is just, we are basically the regular cinema team is working on this. So Mark Cosgrove, the founder of the festival, and myself, and then we, obviously our comms team are doing an amazing job at promoting the festival, and this year for the first time I have a couple of freelancers working on it. Both have come through programs actually. One is another MA in curation students, and the other is someone that came through our youth program called Rife magazine. So what I think the key point I would say is, if you nurture a community of creatives and co-curators, then they can come and help make things happen. And like I said, it's not just us, there's various collectives, groups. I feel like we're more a facilitator of the whole thing coming together. And we have good infrastructure at Watershed. I've got someone doing, we've got this amazing air table, if anyone wants to see my air table, which has everything on it, and that's someone from Watershed that's helped me build the infrastructure. But yeah, it's a lot of work. Everyone knows festivals are crazy, aren't they? Yeah.
Amazing, thank you. Any questions? Okay, we are in the morning. Maybe later. Okay, so we are going to the next presentation. Nataša Šimunov, please. Hi.
Start with the video.
Yes. It's hard to present after Medi. Should I? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna start with our cinema video, just to give you the context what we work, and within that you will see also the young community that we are building. Thank you, Adrian.
Mislim da je rad jednog kina neophodan u stvaranju ukupnog nekog kulturnog programa grada i mislim da je imat kino važno iz milion razloga, ali da je važno.
Kino je na ovoj lokaciji zapravo datira s početka 20. stoljeća, kada ga poznajemo pod nazivom Alhambra. Kroz godine postaje i kulturni centar, sportska dvorana, mjesto koncerata, a do 2006. ga poznajemo pod nazivom Kino Zagreb.
Pula
Pula je 70-ih i 80-ih godina imala čak 4 kina, to su bili Kino Beograd, Kino Zagreb, Kino Partizan i Kino Istra. Tijekom 90-ih godina bilo samo jedno kino, Kino Zagreb, koje je bilo u privatnom vlasništvu i nije postojala mogućnost njegove renovacije, naravno zato što je to jako velika investicija. Zahtijevalo se imati bolju sliku, bolji zvuk, udobnija sjedala. Nekada smo ovdje u Kinu Zagreb, sadašnji Kino Valli, imali drvene stolice.
I od 2008. točnije od 18. srpnja 2008. Otvara se Kino Valli. Ime je dobilo prema glumici Alidi Valli, rođenoj Puležanki.
Više volim gledat filmove u kinu nego doma. Zato što je ovdje puno bolje, izgasi se svjetlo i što bolje vidimo i veliki je pano. Kokice piće. U školi isto pričamo o filmu.
Kino Valli je mjesto za sve generacije. Želja nam je da od najmlađih gledatelja do onih najstarijih svi pronađu ponešto za sebe.
Osjećam se kao da dolazim onako doma kada dolazim ovdje, zato što nekako ima više osobni, topli osjećaj nego neka druga komercijalnija kina.
Dobijamo priliku gledati filmove koje ne možemo naći na internetu.
Da, čak i ako ih možeš naći na internetu, bolje je gledati film u kinu.
I imam osjećaj kao da puštaju filmove zato jer zapravo vole filmove, a ne zato što zbog toga zarađuju ili nešto drugo.
Osim filmskog programa, Kino Valli također ima i popratne programe poput koncerata, kvizova, izložbi i još ponekakvih alternativnih sadržaja.
Preko filmova učimo povijest, budućnost.
Ono što nekako vidim da se dešava i u našem Kinu Valli, kako se naša ustanova bavi filmskim prikazivaštvom općenito, imamo i druge programe, Circolo Classic, Kino u kvartu, naravno naš najvažniji i najveći program je Pulski filmski festival. Ljudi sve više vole evente, vole događanje, vole da im se pripremaju smisleni programi unutar nekih određenih okvira i nekako mi se čini da je možda to budućnost.
Idemo vidjeti ruke za prvi film.
Svaki film koji dođem pogledati je po mom izboru i to mi je drago. Pa biram prema mojim stavovima u životu, iskustvima. Prema tome biram i to obogaćuje upravo moje spoznaje.
Pa jedno je gledati film na ekranu ili na televiziji, sasvim druga stvar. A druga stvar je i druženje.
Ono što nam je najvažnije je publika. Publika i film jednostavno stvaraju jednu sinergiju i zapravo filma bez publike i reakcije publike ne bi niti bilo. Kino budućnosti je kino s publikom i mjesto okupljanja.
Okay, so I'm here today to present a programming by and for young cinema lovers. Since we opened in 2009, we tried several approaches to programming the program for a young audience, but we never succeeded until 2 years ago. So it took us like 10 years. And it was just like some different approach, not to bring them programming by us, but give them the space and time and mentorship to do it by themselves. And okay, this is just a quick agenda about the cinema and why and who is Kino 15+. That's the name of the program. Their activities, results, and engagement. And this is one of the posters that they create in collaboration with our graphic designer. They made a logo. This is a small group of now 8 people, young people, individuals who were coming to the cinema like individually and never met before. I said one day, okay, I want you to hear my idea, and if you are interested and do something with that, I will be happy because I'm hopeless. So we have 2,009 seats. We are located in the city center. We are a town of 50,000 people, and in 15 years we got 1 million visitors, which is a very nice number in 15 years. And the goal is to create community, time and space for young cinema lovers, and programming by and for young cinema lovers. And who our team is, as I said, a group of individuals from our regular cinema program and coming to quizzes, and their knowledge is so huge and rich, even more than mine, I have to say. They say if you don't know Godard, and I'm speaking about people who are like 16, 17, 18 until 22 years ago, then you don't know anything, and they are really hard with their knowledge. So these are all the posters of some films that were screened with the film. They also made their t-shirts. They find the sponsors by themselves. I can just run through the titles from the first day that we started. So it was The Worst Person in the World, Fight Club, Trainspotting, that we talked a lot. Before Sunrise, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Pulp Fiction, The Big Lebowski, Another Round, Magnolia, 12 Angry Men, Lehaine by Matthew Kosovitz, if I pronounced it well, Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind, Birdman, Taxi Driver, North by Northwest, Falcon Lake, and on this Saturday, fortunately, we played 1-1 with Italy, and we don't have to cancel Whiplash on Saturday because they told me, oh my God, maybe we have to cancel the screening, and I said, no, we're gonna lost. And yes, we will have a screening on Saturday, this Saturday, and a concert afterwards in some other place. So some activities they do behind the scene is like film selection on monthly basis. They actually do the programming a year ahead, and then they just pick titles from their head that they think they would be interesting for young audience. And then I said to him, okay, this is possible or not, because they don't know the procedure. They didn't know the procedure, how to select and how to buy rights and everything behind that we as professionals can give them as a mentorship. And they program also like a sidebar activities. They engage young bands from the city or film quizzes and some kind of games they do around the projection. We have a regular Zoom meetings since some of them from the start of the program they left to university at our capital city, and it's very hard to meet them in live. They do different graphic solutions and some kind of marketing. They are planning social media engagement. We decided to build the Instagram profile divided from the cinema Instagram, because the content will just like fill in with the cinema, and this is the better way that they have like their Instagram profile and what they do on the scene. So they have introductions. I'm not showing up at the screenings. I'm showing up as an audience, because when you come as a cinema manager, the audience is like a little bit reserved, and everything they do is by themselves. And as I said, I give them the time and the place and the mentorship. Yeah, as I already said, the concerts and everything what they do. This is like the poster of the Taxi Driver. So what is written, as you don't know the creation, it's like the programs that creates youngsters for youngsters and for all those who feel like that. So they are building also the program they are proud of, that they are building for all audience, not just for their peers. And I think that's nice, and they feel important. They decided that they will not have free entrance. The ticket price is €3. They say if young have for a coffee for €2, then they can pay €3 for the film. And we have 2 screenings per month. So the results since November 2012, it's like, so we have 2 films or activities per month. They also do their own short films, so 3 to 4 productions per year that we also screen in the cinema. We got the first financial support from Croatian Audiovisual Center just to pay the rights. Of course, it's never enough, but it's okay. They have more followers on Instagram than Cinema Valli profile, which I'm not proud of, but it's okay. And the average visitors is 90 visitors per screening. And this year, within the festival, the biggest one in Croatia, that we are organizers, they will also take a part and have one screening of their productions. It's the open air screening on the beach, and afterwards there will be a party for the first time. These are some engagement posts they put on the Instagram. We also made the posters, like printed posters, they distributed by themselves, and on the places they love to hang out, the young people love to hang out. They engage every month before the program on radio, on student radio, local student radio, as we have a small university. Yeah, they are trying in each field, like even marketing, programming, like PR, and I hope they engage new members, and this is something that it's the core of the program, just to change the generations, because one day they will become grown-ups and kind of left this program. So this is it. For some kind, they are not paid. I'm trying to give them something that is not money but experience, so it's kind of a team value. The first generation, 2 boys left to Lucasfilm Festival for children and young audience, and they were the members of the jury there. And the other generation, like Lara and Jako, went to a jury to Taoba Young Youth Film Festival. This year we were also invited, but unfortunately, due to the circumstances, political circumstances in Georgia, the festival postponed. So I'm trying to find some other engagement for them. If you have any idea, please contact me. Then I always, since most of them are now in capital, I try to arrange them accreditation for the film festival, and they of course have a free entrance to our cinema, and they are following all the programs, from the retrospectives to the director's nights to regular programs and everything. So thank you for your attention. I hope I wasn't too... There is much to say. Yeah, if you have any questions, maybe I didn't. For example, an interesting thing for train spotting was that we have a train station in the city, and after the screening there is a pizza place within the train station on the terrace, so you can train spot. So it was kind of for someone who played the game within. After the screening, we gave them, like, you can go the coupon for 2 pizza and go and see train spot. So it's something, yeah, some funny things they do, and we do together, and it's nice. It's very nice.
Thank you very much. Really amazing. Yeah, nice concept. Thank you.
Yeah, it was the only solution. We were really trying for 10 years. And I said, okay, no more, let's do something else.
And finally it works, so
yeah.
It's great. So, any questions?
Hi, I think it's an amazing project. I'm very jealous of it. It looks so good. How much of your own time are you investing in this?
Well, a lot, as I think we all do. I mean, if you know, this is not just a work. For all of us, it's a passion. I think so. Yeah. It's a lot of time. It was a lot of, to start with. We have a WhatsApp group. We are on it like 24/7. Like, it's, I have an idea. Let's do this, and they said, okay, let's a little bit stop. We sometimes fight. We sometimes laugh. So it's a really, nice group of 8 young people that I kind of more do not understand. They are teenagers. They are younger than me, like 20 years.
Yeah, this is maybe a nice point for the afterwards session with the staff recruitment, management, and skills development. Yeah,
I forgot to mention, there is within a cinema, it's me as a programmer and the manager, and we have a coordinator and the cinema staff, cinema operators and box office people, and there are people within the company, as we are a public institution, that do other things. But regarding the cinema part, it's just kind of in a management. It's 2 of us, so it's, yeah.
I was going to say, I thought it was super inspiring. Well done on
Thank you.
your work. I thought you brought a really important point about the renewal of these groups. And I think Elisa and I have been managing these kind of programs for a long time. That's always the thing to really think about, how you do the recruitment. And if you can find a formal partnership with someone, like we do it with the university, for instance, or we've done it before with the council, like a youth group, which brings you that new, the next batch.
Yeah.
So the more you can find or create opportunities that are time specific, that are maybe, like 1 year, and then there's an open call and there's 1 year, because it can be quite hard to then renew.
Yeah, they made like open calls, so on Instagram profile, and then they recruit some other new members, and we share some posts and engagement like through the cinema and through everything. But if I say, okay, let's do it something, it's always like a formal way. We do like the formal screening with schools, with teachers, with universities, but it's never like if they ask, hey, you are in the 2nd grade of high school, would you join us? It's
about a kind of creative incentive package.
Yeah.
Besides this money thing and.
For them, of course, it's not a money. But
okay, another question.
You mentioned the mentorship. I'm just curious, how does it work? Is it like a very concrete structure of the mentorship, or is it more like that if they have any questions, they just come to you to get some advices?
It's just every time we meet, there is a kind of a background, like explaining how we get the films, what we can do, what we can plan ahead or not to plan ahead. It's mostly regarding the film rights and the technical part of the mentorship, in the way, they think firstly they needed to do let's do just Hollywood movies, and they said, okay, it would be nice to screen some European films, let's try to think it. So there are screenings twice per month, so they said, okay, one will be like Hollywood productions, because of course on Pulp Fiction and Fight Club there are more visitors than on like some European films, but so they kind of listen to our advice or something, and it's not like a formal way of mentorship. It's just to know the background of a film industry and how everything works, because I think on the university you cannot learn how to be a cinema manager or programming. I don't know, in Croatia. I don't know if anywhere else, but it's it's just the experience that we share with them.
Hi. So first of all, great, amazing works. And regarding to the team problem, maybe you should be able to apply to the European Solidarity Corps, because for what I see, your organization, your association will be perfect to do that. I don't know if you already know the organization. They basically paid for your volunteers, Okay. So it's a good way to keep going to do what you are doing, but with also some money to put in the pocket of the volunteers, So it's really good, I think, and amazing works again. Thanks.
Thank you. I didn't hear. You will tell me more about later.
Okay, you make a presentation in the afternoon. Okay, another questions? Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we are just good in time. Perfect. Wolfgang is the next.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. All right, good morning. Okay, this is dark. So, my name is Wolfgang. I am here from Stadtkino in Vienna. Actually, we have two cinemas. We have the larger house that is Stadtkino, that's the one you see on the screen right now, and a smaller one that is Admiral Kino, which is a very small local cinema. I will be talking about community-based programming, and I will also not only talk about, well, our cinemas, but also for festivals I work with and I work for and I have developed over the years, because I think it's that also is a big part of community building. At Stadtkino, we have always had a very political, very feminist programming. Our chief of programming, she's very eager to have a very opinionated program, and I think that pays off. We also have a lot of premieres, a lot of festival openings. And the festival openings, of course, bring a lot of different communities into our cinemas. Also, we have little festivals for communities from different countries. Sometimes even embassies rent it out to have, for example, I don't know, film festivals, short film festivals for 2 or 3 days with films from their countries. But of course we also have film series and programs for specific communities, and I think community is a bit of a tough word there, because there are communities with already existing representation, so organizations you can cooperate with, but there are also communities that really are not represented in any way, so you gotta find a way to speak to this group of people and bring them together if you want to make a program for them. And that is the first problem, I think, making a program for communities. I think that's just like Nataša already said, it is always important to work with these communities. Whatever they may be, they also need to be a part in the programming, because I cannot be part of every community. I cannot know what they want. What do the younglings want? I don't know. Let them talk. So I think one example were our failed attempts to a kids program for kids about 3 or 4 years old, with watching films and just having people talk with the kids about these movies. And we always thought, yeah, parents and their kids, they just come at 2 in the afternoon, and then we have this program and everything will run by itself. It did absolutely not. And the reason was that none of us had kids at that point, and we just did not know the realities of parenthood. Nobody wants to go to the cinema at 2 in the afternoon with their kids, because the kids sleep at that point. So you have to put that program at 10 in the morning, and all of a sudden it worked much, much better. Plus, we absolutely underestimated the promotional might of mommy blogs and momfluencers. That is absolutely insane. So if you can find a cooperation with momfluencers or mom blogs or anything that parents go to get inspiration, how to what to do with the kids, try to talk to them. There are also groups of people who we never thought existed. Like a partner cinema of us, they introduced screenings at 6 a.m. for people who want to go to see to the cinema before they go to work. I'm not a morning person, that's why I work at the cinema. And apparently not all people work like me. And these screenings, sometimes there were, 200, 300 people at 6 in the morning. Which was amazing, yes. Nobody really understood it, but it's running on a regular basis, so every 1 or 2 months, and of course with a curated program, like Groundhog Day. If you curate it in a way that the exact time the clock in the movie goes to 6 o'clock, it is 6 o'clock. People just get up 5 minutes earlier to just see that. I don't get it. Well, yeah. Exactly, we also did that. We also have our program with youth programmers. I will skip through that a bit quicker, because I think Nataša said the most important points already, that how to work with younger programmers. Our program is called Kino und Krawall, which basically translates to Cinema in Mayhem. And we have a group of young programmers. They're all in, I think, between 19 and 21. And we found them in film universities. We just found them by asking in our newsletter who wants to be part of that. And they have been doing this program for 2 years now. So in my opinion, some of them are getting too old already. But they put together a program of films that they want to watch. And we would never have dared to program the films that they were showing over the course of the last 2 years. So my examples are Hiroshima Mon Amour, Sister Act, Tomboy, Climax, and 10 Things I Hate About You. Which is absolutely mind-blowing, because I would have never dared to program that for young people. But they wanted to see that, and what they always try is get a Zoom call with the directors as well. So and they are extremely successful doing that. So here you can see them with the that is a Zoom call with the director of 10 Things I Hate About You. I don't know how they got the contact, but they did. We also had Sebastian Schipper, who is a German director of Absolute Giganten and Victoria, in a Zoom call. And there's also a lot of program besides the cinema. There also are pub quizzes, there are parties, there are concerts, just the same programs that Nataša was talking about. And for their second anniversary, they made an entire little Kino und Krawall Film Festival, which lasted for 3 days. And they programmed only first films by directors. So it was only the first works. And yeah, it also that worked out pretty well. It did very well, and this is, I think, also one of the reasons to work with people, because they bring their own crowd. So I wouldn't even know how to market that properly. I don't know how to market Sister Act in the year 2024, but they apparently knew, and so that worked out. Apart from that, we are very big in film with talks. So we have, I think, 2, 3, 4 times a week. We have a film and discussion to include the audience in the topic of the film. We do that in film series, like the ones we call Feminist Fridays. We have a film series in a collaboration with a museum, where the members of the museum, regular visitors, can visit and watch the films of an artist that would run in a museum normally, but in a museum you just walk by video installations and you basically never watch them from the beginning to the end. So they curate an entire program for one person, try to invite them, and he or she will talk about the video work they did with the audience. We also have collaborations with other festivals or other conferences. That is always very important to get hold of a community that comes to Vienna or comes together for a different reason. For example, the Climate Biennale that happened a couple of weeks ago, they had a lot of discussions on stage with representatives of Fridays for Future, with representatives of environmental groups, talking about topics they are talking about in their conferences as well, and now also in combination with a movie in the cinema. It is always important not to be the side event in that case, because if there is a conference, there are many events at the same time, and if you're the third or the fourth side event, nobody will show up, of course. So we always try to get a good slot within the program of the partner festival as well, so we can make use of the space. We also do that for our regular program. So when we have a film that is, let's say, screening for 2 or 3 weeks in our cinema, mostly with documentaries. We have panels where people sit around, as you see here, and just talk about different topics that are interesting to different communities. Like we had a film called Stillstand, that is a documentary about the first lockdown in Austria that was surprisingly successful, because I think people saw it as a kind of therapy. And we had 4 discussion evenings after the film screening. One talking with representatives of health services, the learnings of the time for the health services. The other one for the media, how that was handled, the schools and or the school system, how that was handled, and the 4th one was about politics. And people showed up not only to 1 but sometimes 2 or 3 of these evenings just to discuss the things with, well, the thoughts they had with the people on the panel there. Also with the museum documentary we did that. We were talking with representatives of science, of museums and universities, for example. We also have, as I said, a lot of feminist programs. We have abortion rights activists doing panels and holding some, well, film screenings and discussions in our cinema. Yeah, and so every day there is basically a cinema and talk situation here. There's also some specials that we do with communities that are not that serious, of course, and are part community work, part promotion. In our smaller cinema, for example, we introduced the Doggy Days, which is a kind of film screening where you can bring your dog. You have to get a license for that, of course, and it works. I heard all over there, so it already worked. This is something that, of course, is there to bring a community together, but also because no newspaper can get past that picture. So this is, of course, a part of promotion. And it works both ways, so it's wonderful. And the doggy community comes together in the cinema. I mean, the dogs couldn't care less, to be honest. But if you have some dog-themed films, you can also show that. There's also some other special events. We sometimes, well, once we had what was it? A drag show in our cinema that was hosted by Conchita Wurst, if anybody still knows her. And so we try to keep it always surprising, and we try to cooperate a lot as well, of course, with all communities that ask. So if there's a community asking, can we use your cinema room? Can we use the cinema? We never say no in the first place. Well, maybe some politicians would say no, but if it's weird and funny, we mostly say yes. And yeah, so we have a lot of off-film content as well, and this is where I want to go and talk a bit about the community work that we do within a festival that I'm also working for. It's the Slash Film Festival, which is a festival for a fantastic film, and it is a community that nobody really believed in, and now after 15 years we are one of the biggest festivals in Austria. And it is a community that is just well, it's a community that built out of the need that nobody would screen really horror films or any kind of fantastic film fest. Nobody would cater the weird, the camp films. And so we started Slash Film Festival, and we invited guests from the beginning. We did a lot of work with the drag community, with the queer community. We asked them, okay, what do you want to see? We had drag shows. We invited well, performers to come to Vienna, and this is actually going pretty well. We also built the community of the festival from scratch up, and we gave them the feeling of being in a community. So, for example, on the tickets we had the phrase from Freaks from the film Freaks, one of us, Boogle Boggle, and I saw 3 people at least who have this as a tattoo now. And the weirder the better. For example, we had wrestling fights in the cinema that were an absolute riot. Not many people were hurt, most of them survived. But so this is also a kind of community that is not used to be in a cinema. And it can extend the experience that is happening on this screen, of course. Well, altogether, I think it is always important to talk with the community to get someone who really knows the organization, if the community is already organized. If not, try something out, and yeah, maybe at some point it will work. Probably not at the first time. All right. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much. We have time for one question.
Don't want a coffee now.
Yeah, it's a coffee break time.
We talk over the yeah.
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 Could you elaborate a bit on that and how?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you just repeat the question about that? Okay. Yeah. I'm just really curious about this 6 a.m. Morning screenings. What do you show at the screenings? Is it like regular repertoire or some special?
Mostly not. So that is in one of our partner cinemas, and the idea of the 6 a.m. screening came from one of the from the biggest Viennese festival, from the Biennale. They needed another slot to show people the biggest films that they have. For example, something like Booksmart, when it had premiere, they only had a 6 a.m. slot free, and 700 people would come at 6 a.m. in the morning. Well, the program director once said, well, okay, let's try that over the year as well. And it worked. The program is morning related. Let's put it like that. So, of course, Before Sunrise, films like that, or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So, I don't think they would play Godzilla vs. Kong at 6 in the morning, but you know, something that is just a nice movie to wake up to, and then you can show up at the office and say, "Oh, do you know what I just did?" It's I think that's also part of the experience there, and yeah. You can always ask people, what do you want to watch at 6 in the morning? Most people say they won't come, but half of them will show up, just to be curious who else is there.
Great, thank you very much. So now we are going to have our coffee break, and we'll be back in 15 minutes.